O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Let's do it, baby. Let's talk a little Okie. All right, George. Follow him on Twitter. You can see it right there, George Richards, if you're watching. If not, you're listening. Follow him on Twitter at George Richards. And please, Florida Hockey Now. Let's go. Subscribe. All right? Let's go. Don't hate like the NHL hates the Panthers. Okay? Like TV craps on the Panthers. All right, George, explain to us why they hate us. Why the only city that has an NHL and NBA team in the playoffs gets absolutely crapped on. Why, when we're trying to build hockey down here, we should be having the night all to themselves like we just had the last week and a half. One night it was Panthers. One night it was Heat. Come on, bro. Logic. Accommodate us. Help the Panthers grow their sport down here. Why do they hate us, George?
No, they don't hate you.
They hate us.
ABC wanted the New York Rangers. It's as simple as that. They wanted
Screw
the
them.
Rangers. That's all it is. And the ABC, ESPN wanting to put the Rangers on in the Tuesday, in the Wednesday, Friday time slot oversees whatever happens down here in Florida. The NHL, the NBA, the NHL would much rather have the Panthers not going against the going against the Miami Heat. They especially if they saw today's morning skate, there was no media there. I mean, listen, I know people are saying, "Oh, I'm a hockey fan. I don't care about the Heat." This is South Florida. The Miami Heat rules supreme in this market.
Damn right.
And it's going, but and then there's another thing. I mean, the Panthers have been around for 30 years. If hockey hasn't, I mean, that's really not the NHL's, ESPN's problem right now.
No, but
here,
now that you finally have the right owners in place, which
Sure.
Lord knows we have the right owners in place. We have some kick freaking ass owners. You see what you've built up in Tampa.
I agree.
Now you've got, dude, this is turning into one of the best rivalries in the damn sport. Notice what's going on in your own backyard, NHL. Your better teams are on the Sun Belt, not up in the Northeast.
The Rangers are an original six team.
I know.
And the networks are always going to take them. Now, listen, if Pittsburgh beats them in Game 7, the Tampa, Florida series is more appealing to ESPN than Carolina, Pittsburgh. Even though Pittsburgh would draw a few more eyeballs locally than
right,
whatever.
The city. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now listen. I mean, listen. I had some people in Tampa going, "What's the big deal? Well, Tampa, you don't have to worry. You don't have an NBA team, and the NBA team you kind of have is the Orlando Magic.
That's not really an NBA.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half away. It's a completely
it's not really an NBA. That's a borderline NBA team, by the way. That's it's closer to G League than the NBA. But
we wouldn't have this problem if Pat Riley would have just moved the Heat with the Panthers when Wayne Huizenga offered that to him. And Wayne Huizenga said, Pat Riley famously said, "I did not come to Miami to coach in Broward." So you have two arenas and you have two teams.
Mickey also wasn't going to, he needed his arena in front of his boats.
I know.
So
I know. He came, and that was a fight, but I'm just saying, we are in a two arena town that doesn't need two arenas. Never did. We do not need two arenas.
That's a Wayne and Mickey thing that we weren't ever going to solve because
it was two billionaires fighting it out. No, for sure.
Remember, it was Wayne that picked up his team and went to Broward. He could have stayed right in Dade, but he's not a Dade guy.
He was
a Broward guy. Right.
And he was a Broward guy. Wayne Huizenga hated Miami. There's no doubt about it. But, that's why you have the Florida Marlins in the first place, right?
Right, Mickey is a Dade guy, and Wayne was a Broward guy. That was that's why that arena's there, dude. That arena would have never been there if it wasn't for Wayne, because nobody has ever had the kind of juice to make Broward do what they did there, and never will again.
Nobody's done it.
No one ever will get Broward to do that ever again. By the way, only Wayne could do that because he was that connected.
Right. Fort Lauderdale, obviously, Fort Lauderdale with the soccer team, but that was Fort Lauderdale, and that was, land
it's like
you really couldn't do anything else with.
It's like the soccer team now in Miami. Like, all these people that talk shit about it for the last year, I laughed my ass off. It's like, you don't think Moss is connected enough that he's going to get that done?
Right.
I mean, give me a break, dude. That's going to get done one way or another. They'll get it done. When you're connected, you're connected. Moss is connected in Dade. Harrison's connected in Dade. Wayne, that was his thing. All right.
Yeah. Anywho.
All right. So let's get to the Okie now. The Brandon Point loss. Explain to all of us out here, how big of a loss is that number one center to them?
Yeah, that's a big loss, and we don't know how long Braden Point will be out. He got hurt in Game 7 against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he tried to come back like Ekblad did. It is similar, only he couldn't go. He could not go. So sounds like he's out tonight. He'll be day-to-day after that. I'd be surprised if he plays Thursday. It didn't look good for sure. If Tampa Bay were to win tonight in Game 1, he certainly won't play Thursday. If they lose, maybe he tries to come back. We'll have to see. But he is a very important piece to the Tampa Bay Lightning. He may not be the name that everybody knows. Everybody knows Stamkos, Hedman, and, Vasilevsky. But Braden Point is, the stir that, the straw that stirs that drink. He's the guy. And he is a big loss for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
How much weaker? Because I would imagine that they're going to elevate the other centers up.
Yeah.
Does that weaken them badly on the back end there because Florida's pretty damn deep too? That's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, Tampa Bay's had to go without players for a while. They've been able to win without Kucherov. They've been able to win without Stamkos for long periods of points in their season. They're used to stepping up. Now, they're not as deep as they were in years past. We remember last year the Tampa Bay Lightning with the cap problems that they had, and they were able to get, when the playoffs started, they were $17 million over the cap, which was not against the rules. It was totally legal. They didn't break any rules.
Aren't we a little over 2 now this year?
What's that?
Right? We're a little over 2 this year, right?
Yeah, no. Florida's definitely over the cap because Aaron Ekblad got hurt, but he legitimately got hurt. I mean, and I'm not saying, listen, Kucherov had off-season hip surgery. He was hurt. Could he have come back? Sure. Did it make any sense for him to come back? No. Same with Stamkos. So, maybe the Panthers wasn't as egregious, but could Aaron Ekblad have come back with a week left in the season? Probably. Did he? No, because it didn't make any sense for him to. So, the Panthers come into this about $5 million over the cap. Yeah.
Can I say something? Might be a little negative here on this. Aaron Ekblad no longer can count on his body.
What are you talking about?
Well, bro, he's had the 2 breakdowns, and he just got banged up again.
Yeah, but he came back and he played fine.
Last 2 years, he's missed a lot of games. And now he just got
banged
up.
He's a big boy. He's had knee injuries. He's had busted ankles. I mean, those aren't hamstrings. And
I'm just saying his body is failing on him the last 2 years. That's all I'm saying is, unfortunately, that beating has taken a toll on him the last 2 years, and he has not.
He's had very specific injuries, though. He's had very specific injuries. That's a different deal. I know where you're going. And I don't think that's I think he's had very specific, and not, because we know the guys. There are some guys.
He's a hell of a player.
Yeah,
hell of a player.
I mean,
all I'm saying is, if you're the front office now, moving forward and building this team, you've got to be well aware. I'm not telling you you're cutting Ekblad, you're dumping or whatever. He's a core guy. You love the guy and everything. It's just sad that the last 2 years his body's not holding up, and he just came back from an injury. And now he's banged up again. And, dude, you could tell in that game he was hurting. Like, when he came back.
It looked like he had some kind of back thing going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got hit pretty hard.
I'm just saying, luck has not been on the man's side the last 2 years.
No, for sure. For sure. But he's still signed for a couple of years. He's still in Norris, Canada. He's fine.
No, I know he's terrific. I just worry about what's been going on with the injuries, last 2 years. That's all I'm worried about. All right. Bob, going into this series, what do you like? What could you be concerned about?
Well, I'm concerned that Bob's going against Tampa Bay, right? He hasn't played well against Tampa Bay since he was with the Columbus Blue Jackets. I mean, last year in the regular season, Tampa Bay beat him up pretty good. They beat him up real good in the playoffs. He only played him one time this year, gave up 6 goals. That's the concern, that Bob and Tampa Bay are not a match made in heaven. And Tampa knows it, and Bob knows it, and I think that's a big thing. But the way that Bob has been playing all season, the way that Bob has been playing in the postseason, the Panthers are very confident that he's going to continue this. But if Tampa Bay is able to score a couple quick ones on him tonight, there's going to be people. Tampa Bay's got Bob again. Tampa Bay knows Bob, and listen, he knows that too. I mean, those thoughts have to be creeping into his head. So I think a big game from Bobrovsky tonight. If he's able to hold Tampa to 1 or 2 goals, Florida wins something like 4-2, something like that, where Bob's making big saves early, often. I don't care what the numbers are, as long as he's competitive and making looks. I think that'll go a long way to determining where this series goes. If he gives up a bunch of goals.
Now,
I mean,
now for our fans that are, fence straddlers and they barely watch, or they're now watching, or they're getting on the bandwagon, let's be fair now.
Yeah.
Panthers can score on Vasilevsky.
Yeah, they have.
Sorry.
Right.
He's a hell of a goaltender, and maybe he's not as good as he's been in the past. Yeah. But having said all of that, I know what George says might scare you a little bit, but just to make you feel a little bit better, some bitches can score on that guy all the time. And they go in with George. They have confidence too going up against that guy, no matter how good he is.
I wrote that story this morning, FloridaHockeyNow.com, about comparing the two goalies. Vasilevsky used to dominate the Panthers. He has 3 shutouts, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the most shutouts he's got against any single team. None of those in the last couple years. Now, he did shut him out in Game 6 last year, but last year in the playoffs, he gave up 4 goals to the Panthers in 3 of the 6 games. Florida knows they can score on Vasilevsky. Even this last game, the last home game of the year, which was kind of a crapshoot, crap show, whatever. Florida had 3 or 4 goals on Vasilevsky in the first period, and then Tampa Bay ran away with it, and Florida didn't really care. That game that ended their winning streak, but they scored against him the last time they played him. So Vasilevsky is good, very good, but the Panthers have shown that he's human. Thing is, now he seems to be really getting into a zone. He's carried Tampa Bay the last 2 games. They were down 3-1 in that series to Toronto, and they won Game 6 and 7, and a lot of that was because of Vasilevsky. So, like Bob, coming into this playoffs feeling pretty darn good about himself, so is he.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Before I let you go, Verhaeghe, is it a coming of age type of thing for him? Is it more that he's just a hot player right now? Is it a dude that confidence is now growing into his talent?
Yeah.
Talk to me. How do you define the hot streak that this player is on, and the fact that he has become a money man for the Florida Panthers?
It's a little bit of all of that, right? We know Carter Verhaeghe is a heck of a player. Florida keeps him up in the top 6 at all times. So he has earned whatever he gets playing those top 6 minutes with those kind of, with the Barkovs and the Huberdeaus and the Giroux. But you can't really explain what he's done. I mean, he's been like, I asked Brunette the first game when he had, I was like, hey, he had the 2 goals in that one game. I was like, it's nice to see a guy like him get rewarded, because his shooting percentage usually isn't all that good. He gets a ton of chances, and he's always missing the net. His aim isn't real good. But it was in this series. If he shot the puck, he got it in, and he, he's not feeling real good. Apparently, he was sick. He was a game time decision for Game 6. He could have had 2-3 goals in that game. He was stopped right at the foot of the net by a really nice save by Samsonov. He had another breakaway where he just missed, and then he gets the game-winning overtime goal. The run. So
what is he, Michael Jordan in a flu game against Portland? Is that what we're getting there from?
Well, no, I don't think it was anything like that. But he didn't play 36 holes of golf, I don't think, the day before. But Carter Verhaeghe, what a historic run, right? 3 straight game-winning goals in the playoffs to win the series. Florida was down 2-1.
Money.
And Verhaeghe gets the overtime winner in Game 4. He scores 2 in Game 5, and then he gets the overtime winner in 6. I mean, unbelievable.
Awesome.
12 points at 12 points in the 6 games.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic to watch.
So to explain, is he coming of age? I mean, he is now, right? I mean, everybody in Washington D.C. has heard of him.
Right. It's awesome, man. It's just impressive to watch, and
It was impressive, yeah.
Yeah, and it's great to have for guys like Huberdeau and Barkov, who have all the weight of the world. It's nice to have a couple of guys that can can compliment you and take a little bit of that heat off.
There's so much scoring on this team, right? I mean,
yeah,
they can get it from anywhere. You got Ryan Lomberg the other night.
Yeah.
Patrick Hornquist is going to score a couple in this series. You can just feel it.
Yeah.
Lundell, and I keep saying
Lundell has played like
that's my
guy. Lundell's played like a 10-year veteran. That child has played like a 10-year veteran, bro.
Luosterainen, I mean, he's so good, but he doesn't score. But he does everything else for you. I think he's going to be a hero one of these games. Awesome. One of these days, I'll be right, Big O. One of these days.
You're always right. You're always right with us. And he is George Richards. Follow him on Twitter. More importantly, subscribe to Florida Hockey Now, which, by the way, he always does this breakdown, too, on the betting side. So Panthers by 1.5 goal, over and under 6.5. Lightning's plus 140 in the money line, Panthers minus 165. So what is attractive to you in this one?
Well, I think the over-under was 7, right?
Yeah, well, I have it 6.5.
You can bet the 6.5. I think you go over. I think you go over there. It's a Florida home game, so I think you go over. I think it's going to be a little bit wild. And I'll even at minus, what was it, 165?
Yes, sir.
On the money line, I'll take Florida on that. I think Florida having a couple days rest, having a brand new series, and Tampa, coming off that tough, we had to win to survive kind of thing. I think Florida takes game 1. Game 2, I think, is really going to be tough.
All right, let's do it.
But I think Florida wins tonight, and I think they almost have to after losing the first 2 here last year and losing home ice immediately.
Yes,
I think
that was a nice wake-up call.
I think Florida needs to win game 1 here tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I hope they do that. Florida Hockey Now, please subscribe. Follow him on Twitter at George Richards. George, enjoy the hockey. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Orlando. Be good. See you, bud.
I got it. There you go. The great George Richards, 24 hours a day, all right, is a Lenny Locksmith. Car, home, reprogram the car keys. They do it all. Locations all throughout South Florida, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. We've got a couple locations in Central Florida, Tampa, and Orlando. ALennyLocksmith.com. That's your lockdown segment.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.